Hello and welcome to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing something I've been looking forward to for quite a while now. It's F1 Manager 2022. We're going to start a new career. I did go in and just play a couple of races with a Haas save, just to sort of familiarise myself with the gameplay, the mechanics, and so on, just so I wouldn't be learning everything completely fresh in this career. But we're going to start a new career. Now we're going to overwrite that autosave.
Formula One. A sport that spans hearts, minds and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. And that legacy continues today. The 2021 championship was thrilling from start to finish, and 2022 is set to be even better. New regulations will usher in an age of pioneering changes. New driving talent alongside returning champions will be dueling it out to the bitter end. The pressure will be on the team principals in the upcoming season as they manage their drivers, their cars, and the whole team to push to victory. This is not a challenge for the faint-hearted. This is Formula One.
All right, should I... Okay, we're going to choose a team now.
Mercedes returned to F1 in 2010, and since
I'm just
2014 they've won the constructors.
We know who the teams are. A quick note on my experience: I'm not someone who follows motorsport with any degree of consistency. I do enjoy, the Netflix series Drive to Survive. I'm familiar with, the drivers. I've got a couple of 100 hours of Motorsport Manager under my belt. During the F1 season in real life, I do sort of follow the standings and keep an eye on, which teams are doing well, which drivers are doing well. But I do enjoy motorsport games quite a lot. So I wouldn't describe myself as anything even resembling an expert at all. But I'm not starting completely out of scratch.
Formula One since 2020.
So I stop the audio. So teams. I think probably the two stand out by far and away the best teams at the moment are Ferrari and Red Bull.
The Red Bull
probably Red Bull might have the edge just at the moment. And you can see that at the moment they've both got the season objective of finishing first. Both got high starting balance. You can have a little look at the car performance. Red Bull is rated as second best car on the grid. Ferrari between third and first. And Mercedes has the best drivers. It's got Hamilton and George Russell there, who's very, very good. Verstappen and Perez, very good for Red Bull. Leclerc and Sainz for Ferrari, also very, very good. We're not going to be that good because I think, in a management game, you want to be able to improve the team, don't you? So Williams is generally considered to be
a legendary name in it.
Although as it said there, a legendary name in the sport, it's generally considered to probably be the weakest team in Formula One. I'm not going to start as Williams, though. I feel that's probably putting myself too much at a disadvantage in my first campaign here.
Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo is a team that seems to be doing quite well in the races I raced. They were finishing above me. I was racing as Haas, as I said. I don't have any particular fondness, though, for their two drivers. I mean, Zhou, I think, is a new driver, and Bottas is someone who hasn't really stood out to me personality-wise. I don't know. Aston Martin.
2021 was Aston Martin.
They've got Vettel, who I think is a 4 times world champion, isn't he? And Lance Stroll, who's the son of the owner, Lawrence Stroll, isn't he? So again, not a team that I feel any great affection for, I wouldn't say. We've got AlphaTauri, and their driver's Pierre Gasly, who I do quite like. He came across very well in Drive to Survive, I think. I don't know much about Tsunoda, really. Generally quite a decent car, I think, if we look at how they're expected to perform. They're sort of solidly middle of the pack. If I look at Haas, who I was, they were...
Haas joined F1 back in 2016.
Yeah, they're considered to have the worst drivers on the grid, worst headquarters. So yeah, they weren't doing particularly well. I think it's Alpine
was a new name in 2021.
They've got Fernando Alonso, who, although 40, is still probably one of the better drivers in the competition. And Ocon, who I quite like. He came across quite well in the show, I think. I'm leaning towards McLaren
are a cornerstone
and there's a couple of reasons for that. It's for me one of the most legendary names in Formula 1. I also am descended from the McLaren clan in Scotland on my mother's side. I'm, yeah. Got a clan tart and everything. So I probably have the greatest affection for them. In terms of their drivers, Ricciardo, he's just a really nice guy, perhaps. I think in real life he's actually just been let go by McLaren for the next season, so he's obviously not doing too well. But Lando Norris I quite like. He's a very young British driver who performs quite well. I might even make him my number 1 driver in this game. In terms of where they are on the grid, car performance 8th of 10, so they're not among the best at the moment, but room for improvement hopefully. Good drivers though, good staff and good headquarters, so we're not starting completely from the bottom. They'd like to finish 5th and eventually win the Constructors' Championship. We'll see how that goes. Medium starting balance, so not too poor, not too rich. That's a little biography of them. Woking, I actually don't live too far from Woking, so yeah. For me, they're the local team, I guess you could say, and also one that I don't think I'm related in any way to the people who actually run the Formula 1 or created the Formula 1 team. But you never know, I suppose. Certainly share a surname going back a generation or two. So we're going to continue as McLaren. The rather snappy orange livery. So we're going to be boring... Oh, the tab doesn't work, so we'll be boring Dad. First time going. So I'm actually going to turn that off because there were tutorial screens that come up, but honestly everything's fairly self-explanatory, so I'm quite happy talking through stuff. Yeah, we're going to be McLaren. Here we go. So I'm not going to run through everything along the bottom here. We'll sort of touch on stuff as and when it comes up. But this is our home screen, so we can see our drivers, car 1, car 2. Norris is even rated a little bit higher. I won't change the car numbers, and they're probably fairly on an even standing, I would imagine. But I want to build around Norris, I think. Bahrain's coming up. We've got 11 days. Race 1 of 22. We're currently 4th in standings, but there's been no races yet, so whatever. So we'll pop into our inbox. We're being welcomed. Happy to have you on board. That's fine. Let's go to cars. So what I want to do is pop into get a couple of car parts being developed. So we're going to go into car parts development and start a new project. And we're going to do a design project. So here we can choose which car part we're going to work on. I mean, we're going to eventually improve all of these things, I suppose, but something like suspension might be good. All looks very complicated, but it's not too bad actually. So what it's saying here is that this is the part we've got fitted on the car, and the current things we have set, this is what is predicted our new part will be improving upon. So you can see it is better. And everything's green. It will be improving our top speed, our low, medium and high speed and corners. DRS top speed a little tiny bit. Yeah, so it's improvements, not major improvements, but we might be able to do something about that because we can put some testing in here. So every 56 days, as far as I can tell, the amount of testing will reset, but until then we've got a total of 5.1 computational fluid dynamics testing. So we can put in how many hours of that we're going to do. And you can see that as we raise this up, it's improving the quality of our part. I don't really know what the sweet spot is. I think the part is going to take us... where does it say how long it's going to take? I can't tell. It might tell us at a later stage when we're continuing. But for now, let's leave it there. Wind tunnel hours works the same way. We've got 68 hours in the wind tunnel available for this 2-month period. So we're going to... let's put 5... What effect is that having? If we put it at 10 seems a bit much, because we're going to try and do other parts as well. Let's leave it at 5 for now. So there we go. So we've improved things a little... Well, have we improved things a little bit more? I hope we have. Doesn't look much like it, does it? How about if we raise this up even further? It is raising some stuff. But again, it's minimal, isn't it? Well, let's leave it at that for now. It is improving things a little bit. Let's continue to design focus. So we can focus on race performance, which will mean that things heat up a bit more, but other things improve a bit more. We can do optimized cooling, where the cooling's better, but perhaps we're not increasing the speed and other stuff as much, or a balanced one, which is sort of the best of all worlds, but without any standard errors. Now I'm going to leave it like that for now. You can alter things manually as well, but to be honest, I know so little about cars and stuff. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Balanced. There we go. So we're going to continue on to development stuff. And this is probably where it's going to take us, how long it takes. So it's going to take us 25 days. But we can get that down. We have a total of 10 engineers. So the more engineers we have, the less time it will take. I think we can only have 2 parts developing at one time. So if we leave it at, say, 4 engineers, and we can even speed it up there, but it does raise the cost of the part. We could rush it for 13 days. Means it will be. I might do that because it means that it'll be constructed around the time we're finishing up in Bahrain, the first race. So let's do that. So it's gone up for. We've added 100 grand to the price through that. Let's do it. So completion date 20th of March, 13 days. It's going to take 300k out of our $25 million pot. And I haven't seen a way to change that from dollars to pounds, so I'm just going to leave it. unless there is something at the bottom there, I'm not quite sure. We're going to design another one. Maybe this time we'll do front wing. So again, we can see we've got less available hours in all of these stuff. So we're going to maybe again have it at 0.5 and 5 hours in the wind tunnel. That's the front wing. So again, we're having a bit of an effect on stuff. Cornering quite good. Again, I'm going to leave it at balanced, I think. We've got 5 engineers left, including we've got 1 already there. So if we take that up to 4, we'll have 2 engineers left over. It's going to take 39 days for the front wing, but if we push it up, it's gone down to 26 days. So it's added half the cost again to get it done. But I want to rush to get a couple of good parts out there. I might not do that every single time. Manufacture is where you can build new parts that you already know, but we're not going to do that now because we're going to be making better parts. Once we've got the better parts, we'll probably manufacture them so each car's got one. The research was locked until 18th of April, so we can't do anything there yet. Let's go back to the menu. That's the home screen. Yeah, I can't change. I couldn't see anything to change the state. It might be in the finances screen. I don't know. Let's have a look. No. Quick look at this, though, in terms of the sponsorships. So we've got a number of sponsorships, each having obligations, such as a memorabilia room event. So the memorabilia room morale boost will be paused on the day of each event. So it gives us money, but there's a little bit of a headache involved to get that. So if we see the hospitality, it means that the pit crew's performance will decrease on each race day that we're having to host these sponsors, but we get over $500,000 for it. Our team must host a sponsor event in the race simulator. So again, the race simulator's experience boost is reduced that day. That's going to be across 15 events in the season. And some merchandising, where we're having to put out a certain amount to invest. So we're investing nearly $11 million. But we're hoping to make $750,000 per race. And over 20 races, that's about 15... going on for about 18 million, something like that. Not sure, something like that. So obviously we'll make a profit over the season, so that's good. If we go to drivers, have a look at our driver screens here. So let's pop into Norris. So this is where his skills are at the moment. It reckons he's got average growth potential. If you've played Football Manager at all, you'd know that players sort of have an innate sort of ceiling potential. I think in Football Manager it tends to be invisible unless you scout a player, but here it's sort of giving us that we know he'll improve, but perhaps not a vast amount. But he's already at 86 out of, I presume, 100. I think that's probably the average of all his skills here. I think that's pretty good. Say he gets up to 90 eventually. That's got to be one of the best on the field, I would say. 22, very young. What's his... I contract situation? Let's have a look. So he's actually under a fairly long-term contract, 4 years. That's good. Yeah, we don't want to break that because I think, as I said, we want to build around him. Facility bonuses. So these are things that we have built at our HQ that he's getting bonuses from. So memorabilia room. Our team is more attractive and raises morale. Team hub. Provides a space for staff to take a break and study their craft. So again, it's an attractive quality. It will probably help us hire drivers that we want. Our existing drivers and staff will get a morale boost and an experience gain boost each week, which is pretty nice. And the race simulator is plus 60% weekly experience gain for drivers, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that. In the Haas headquarters, they didn't have anything really, so that's quite nice to see. Careers, probably just a summary of what he's done. So he was 11th, 9th, 6th, and 6th. So he's doing pretty well, I think. Okay. We could do the same with Ricardo. What's it saying? So he's got low growth potential. But then again, he is 32. So, he's pretty much peaked, is what the gist is there. In terms of his contract, he's there for a year. So what we probably want to do is scout other drivers and see who we've got coming up that we might be able to replace him with. So let's scout. We've got 2 scouts. I think we can increase that with facility construction, but let's go into the scouting department. Upgrading facility, blah, blah, blah. It's going to cost 1.3 million, but I think that will give us an extra scout there and double our monthly upkeep. I'm inclined to do it. It's going to take over a month. Take it up to level 3 of 5. We'll leave the others for now. Yeah, I want to go into staff. That's where I want to be. I want to be scouting. We want to... Can I scout drivers? How do I scout drivers? Huh. Okay, we can scout staff. Is it in drivers? Oh, scout drivers. Here we go. This is what we want. So I'm tempted to look at some younger up-and-coming drivers, maybe in Formula 2. I think probably Formula 3 is a bit too young. But let's scout him. Standard scouting. And we're going to want to do everyone at this level eventually. So I'm not going to sort of exclude people. Although, that said, if I do it by rating and then look for anyone in Formula 2 who's there. So we've got Jehan Daruvala, who's 23, currently 73 out of 100, driving in Formula 2. Or we could go for someone who's Jack Doohan, who is open to negotiation. That's good. What nationality is he? He's Australian. 19, already 72 out of 100. Where can I scout him? Standard scouting, there we go. Yeah, so we've got a bit of stuff going on there. Got some scouting going on. We're building a couple of parts. Have a quick look into facilities. Car development facilities. So we've got one of each of these. I presume that if we upgrade the CFD simulator in the wind tunnel, we'll actually get more testing time. But the design centre might be good. But it will cost half our budget to do, so maybe not yet. Similarly, the factory is probably quite expensive. Yeah, all of these are pretty expensive. What about operations facilities? Boardroom. We don't have a boardroom. Yeah, I don't know if that's necessary. Hospitality. Weather centre. That might be good. We can get more accurate weather forecast. Let's actually do that. It's only 1.5 million. Only 1.5 million, he says. 24 days. That's fine. Let's do that. What staff facilities? We're doing the scouting department already in the team hub. What will that do? Staff get weekly experience gain. Okay. Let's look at our staff. So our technical chief, Ben Watkins. Okay. What about race engineers? What's their affinity with? Good affinity with Ricardo. Not great for communication. What about the next guy? Do I have to go out and back in? I suppose I do. No, I don't know. It's great affinity. He's alright. He's not bad. In terms of his contract, a year. So yeah, so once we've found a driver we want to replace Ricardo with, what we might do is start scouting replace some of these. Head of aerodynamics. Yeah, I'm not going to get too far into those. So, with that done, I think we're going to continue. Got something in our inbox. Introducing our staff. Introducing the idea of sponsor stuff. We already touched on that. Season kickoff party. So, good morning, Boring. We've had an idea for a season kickoff party to bring everyone together to celebrate the team. We'll need a budget approval if we want to go ahead with it. What do you think? So we can deny it, or we can spend 10k to improve driver morale and staff morale. So I think we're going to do that. Alright. So when we carry on, I think we're going to come into pre-season testing now. We've actually shot right past it. So what do we think of our testing? Okay. Versus the other teams. So we are 15th out of 20. For speed, acceleration. Oh wow, yeah. We've got room for improvement basically. We're about the 15th and 16th best car on the grid, something like that. But we're developing new parts, don't forget. Jack Doohan scouting's complete. Let's have a look what we've seen about him. Growth potential high, aggression high. See, I quite like the high potential growth. Okay, that's good. And what about what's the other one? Where's my inbox? Here we go. And Dennis Horger, who is the other one. So let's see what he's like. Again, I thought he was 23. I don't know. So he's lower down. He's 69 out of 100, but he's got high growth potential again. Can we compare the two? Can we compare him with Jack Doohan there? So Jack Doohan's better for most of those things, but then Dennis is better for overtaking, adaptability, smoothness, and control. Jack's better at braking, but Dennis is better at cornering. Huh. His reactions and stuff are much better. I'm still leaning towards Jack. Alright, well let's get some more scouting going. Scout new drivers. So let's stick with the overall rating, and then we'll drop down into Formula 2. Yeah, I want to look at the younger drivers. So we've got Frederick Vesti and Richard Verschoor. Let's have a look at those two. Standard scouting. What was the other one? Richard Verschoor. We'll stick with Ricardo for this season, and then we'll see who we can get. So we're going on to the race now. Oh, important email. Here we go. The Bahrain Grand Prix is almost here, so I want to make sure that the team is prepared. Check the circuit info to plan strategy. Check our sponsor, performance targets, and then check that our car builds are the best using our parts. Well, yeah, we don't have any new parts yet, so let's go to race prep. Performance targets. So this is where we can make extra promises and maybe get some extra money, but with the trade-off that if we don't get them, we might lose money. So qualifying position. We want to... I think we can reach qualify 2. Maybe not 3. Let's say 2. Race targets. Fastest lap. I doubt it. So we won't promise that. Hot streak targets. Finish 12th or higher for 5 races in a row with at least one driver. I don't know about that. We're going to try and reach qualifier 2 though. That's our target. Let's have a look at what our strategy might be. So we've got 57 laps. Here are some suggested strategies. They're all 2 pit stops. Soft, medium, soft. Soft, hard, soft. Soft, hard, medium. Okay, yeah, so starting on soft, all of those, and then sort of switch those out as and when. Okay. Alright. Car builds, I mean, that's going to be standard because we haven't changed any parts yet. So let's go to the race weekend. Now, if you played Motorsport Manager...
Welcome to the archipelago of Formula One. Bahrain might have a small land footprint, but it's showing its big spirit right now in the grandstands. Either way, it's time for another fantastic weekend of Grand Prix racing. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. At this early stage in the season, there are still plenty of opportunities for things to change. In this sport, there simply are no guarantees. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Formula One.
Right, so I was just going to say that anyone who's played Motorsport Manager will kind of get the idea here where in practice we're going to try and nail down what is the optimal setup for our car to help us in qualifying in the race. So you can simulate the sessions. I'm going to at least play practice 1 and then see how close we can get to the ideal setup and what we go from there. So let's just continue. So no one really knows anything about the car at this point, what it can do. It's only practice, so I might take off that compound and go with the medium. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do the same here. Just because I want to kind of save the softs for the race and qualifying. Oh, I'm ready. Car 2 ready. Let's go. Let's manage the practice.
Radio check. Yep, radio is good. Drink's good.
Okay, so we've got an hour.
Should be starting now.
We won't play all of that. Here goes Ricardo. Yeah, we'll do the cameras and various stuff in a minute, but we're going to send out... give it a little bit. And we'll send out Norris as well. So let's stick with Ricardo. So we've got this is more of a director's view, I think. We've got the view I kind of like in the races, which is a cockpit view. We've also got a rear view. This is sort of like an offset view. And then we have sort of a front wing view, which is, I don't know, I'm not sure about that one. So this is sort of the view I quite like. It looks like there's a bit of rain, doesn't it? What's the weather doing? Not sure. I think it'll be okay. It's Bahrain. It shouldn't be that wet. Just going to leave him in a fairly standard setup, I think. So a quick note on this. So during the race, we can click on this and we can set different pace commands. Again, if you played Motorsport Manager, these will be very familiar to you. Basically, we go from attack, which is the fastest, but will wear out our tyres quicker. Aggressive, faster, wear out tyres, but slightly less than attack. We've got standard, which is just medium really. Light, which is slower but conserves the tyres, and then conserve, which is the slowest but the easiest on the tyres. If we look at fuel, it's similar. I think this counts that we have a tank that will do not very much at the moment. We've only got 28 kilograms of fuel. It lasts us a while. And we can set it to push, which was quicker, but will use way more fuel. We can set it to conserve, which is slower, but, conserve fuel. And this is important because the rules in Formula 1 at this time are that you have to take on board the amount of fuel you'll need to the end of the race. So, you can't refuel during the race. So if you run in the high mode, push mode all the way through to the end, you'll probably run out of petrol sort of around here, a few laps before the end. And then you've got ERS, which I don't fully understand, but it's an energy recovery system. So we can sort of, when our battery's full, it's at 96% at the moment, we can choose to deploy it and be very quick, but use up our battery, or defend or overtake and use it as well. Or you can harvest and go slower and just sort of recover the energy a bit quicker. For practice, I think we'll just keep it in neutral. It doesn't seem much point playing with that. We're told another car has run wide. This is damage to the car. You can see there's nothing damaged at the moment. We click on the wheels. We can see that 95% wheel condition. We've got the temperature. Is that brake temperature? I'm not sure. Condition of the engine, ERS and gearbox. In Motorsport Manager you can actually replace these during the race, but during this the only part you can replace during the race is a front wing, which we can see the damage here. So basically if anything else, like if your engine goes to 0%, your race is over. There's nothing you can do about it. We can avoid curbs to do a bit less damage, I think, and driving clean air just for heating, I think. To be honest, again, I'm not entirely sure, so I probably won't be playing around with those too much. Here we can call the car in and issue pit lane instructions. And this is just a little driver thing. If you click on the driver's picture, we can offer some basic commands like don't fight your teammate or hold back cars behind. So you can have a bit of team orders there. Timings, shows you how you're doing in the various zones of the racetrack. Got Norris in front. Norris is actually in front. He came out second, so Norris has already overtaken Ricciardo then. Telemetry. So you just see what we're doing. But as we said, this is a manager game, so you can look at this, but we can't really change anything there. And yeah, there we go. Really, that's what there is to it. So I wonder how many. I think once they've done a couple of laps, I'll bring them in and have a little look at the setups and how they're doing there. Maybe we'll push for this one just so.
Let's see what pace you can do.
Just to see if it does anything different and we understand a bit more about the setup, really.
If you can, push.
Yeah, all good.
So we can see a bit of goals, practice goals here. We've got track acclimatization. Got a little thing for setup confidence there. Car parts knowledge. So, we're still here. We haven't really learned a great deal as yet. So what I'll probably do while we're doing this, I'm just going to speed it up. I can speed it to 2 times and still have a cockpit view. If you go to 4 times, you just get this sort of overhead view, and same for 8 times and 16 times speed. So we'll just leave them out there. We'll bring it back, and is that where we are? Might be. They've been out for a little while, so let's bring them in. Calling the car in early will cancel the current activity once the car enters the pit lane. Ooh, what activity is that? Practice. Maybe they come in at a set point then. Let's just drop this back down.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Okay, understood.
We can flip over to Norris, see what he's up to.
Careful with this tyre.
Okay.
We can't call them in yet. We'll speed it up a little bit. Notice none of the big. Well, fair few of the big names haven't come out yet. wonder how long we're supposed to stay out here. As I said, I don't know if I mentioned, but I simulated the practice with my Haas thing, and I went into the race, and they weren't entirely happy with the setup on the car. The first race I did with Haas, they both didn't finish. I think the problem there was I didn't realise the rule about having to use different tyre compounds in the race, so I just stuck them on softs, and they got to the finish line and were like, no, you didn't finish. And the second race, I was doing rather well. We were in 10th and 11th, which was pretty good for Haas. And then my front driver in 10th, who was Magnussen, just drove into a wall. And then the second driver, who was, remind myself here, was, Michael Schumacher, ran into him, and they both crashed off. And this was in the final lap of the race. They were within a couple of corners of finishing the race in 10th and 11th, which would have been great. So that was a bit frustrating. It's not like the F1 Codemasters games where you get flashbacks and you can say, oh, that was a bad mistake, let's flash back and try and fix that. It was, we ended up finishing, there were 3 did not finishes, so we did finish 16th and 17th, but very disappointing compared to where we could have finished. I would like to bring them in and look at the practice goals. They are getting set up confidence. I don't know, what's this 4%? Is that acclimatizing to the track? And this one could... Oh, here we go. Track acclimatization and car parts knowledge. It's still really low, isn't it? I don't know why it's so low. But rather than sit here and have everyone watch all of this, what I'll probably do is just edit this part out from here and then come back when we're in the pit lane and playing around with the various sliders to try and improve our car setup. Right, here we are. Ricciardo is in the garage now and Norris is heading in. And we're going to reconfigure the car. So at the end of that... Ricciardo was about 50% happy with the car, 52% here. He reckons the braking's bad, cornering's great, traction and straights are bad, but oversteer's good. So what can we do about these? Well, let's try and think about the braking stability. So what changes that? I don't want to change the one that's too great though, too much. Here's the braking. Let's kind of move that down there. We've changed cornering a little bit. We'll address that at the end though. So traction, what can we do about traction? Seems good. Let's sort of steer that into this kind of zone. Straights are bad. What can we do about straights? Maybe want to bring that this kind of way, perhaps. Let's have a go at that. So front wing angle, I would like to bring sort of back in line a bit. Yeah, so a good isn't great, so definitely needs to be changed. So a little bit of change there. We've tried to keep cornering in this great kind of zone. We've moved braking stability into this sort of optimal setup range. Similar with traction. They were both bad, so I've changed those quite a lot. And then we'll see what he feels about that. So let's run plan. Should we change tyres? We could actually. Let's put him on softs. We've got loads of softs. So time to configure 4 minutes. That seems all right. Yeah, we'll see how he feels about that. And here comes Norris. So we're going to do the same thing with him. He was less pleased with his setup. He was only 40% happy. So let's have a look. Yeah, everything's bad, apart from cornering and traction, but we're okay actually. So straights obviously needs to get into this better zone here. Here we go, rear wing angle. Let's move that quite substantially. Oversteer. It's hard to know which direction to move some of these. Like, we've moved that quite a lot and it was bad, so that's probably better. The ones that are good, I've moved them, but not too far. This one, braking stability, needs to move quite a bit, though. And we can. I think we move it that way, so I can't move it too far the other way. It's hard to know how good that's going to be. It might be terrible, of course, but at least we find out. And then we can, if things get worse, you can then move them in the other direction. So. Let's run with that plan. Confirm. Yeah, it's going to take a little while, so we'll come back when they're back on the track. Right, so here we are. They're ready to come back again. I'm going to send it Norris first this time. In terms of timing, he's actually not... I know it's only practice, it's not qualifying, but he's actually in 5th place in terms of the times he's been putting in. So I think he's got to be pretty happy about that. Just let him get out the pit lane. Then we'll send Ricciardo out. Well, let's stick with Norris for now. We'll go back to the cockpit view. And it's pretty much going to be more of the same. You can see that the track acclimatization and car park familiarization is going up. So we can see here that the blue line is our run. And that we're going to get a bit more knowledge. So we won't be able to do a 3rd run. But at the end of this run, we'll know how we were doing in terms of the setup. So we might have to use the 2nd and 3rd practice to try and really nail that down. But I won't keep filming for those periods because it's just going to be going round and round a track without much happening. So we'll come back towards the end of this run. So here we are towards the end of the first practice session. Norris is just entering the pits.
Okay, understood. And just remind you to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
And I think it went well with him because he went from 41 confidence to 71 confidence. Let's have a look at how he felt about the setup. So we've got optimal tractions, good. Great braking, great oversteer, so we're going to keep all those where they are. Bad cornering. Yeah, it's difficult. In Motorsport Manager, you could see where they were previously in the previous setup. I was sort of hovering over. I can't seem to do that here, so like I know we'd have moved cornering, but I don't know in which direction. I mean, it's pretty obvious where straights goes. We're going to get that back down there. And I guess cornering more towards that side, but we'll do that in second practice. So hang on. All right, I'll tell you what, let's try that now. So which was the one that changed straights? Let's leave it there, because we've got to play around a bit more with the other stuff. Okay, let's revert. Because I felt like I was mucking that up more than anything. Well, that's great. So we actually don't want to change that. This is a big change to traction, so I think we'll leave that one alone. Yeah, let's give that a couple of nudges. And then these other ones we kind of want to bring back. This one is great. Yeah, if we do that, there's kind of back to the great and optimal settings. But we've changed the cornering and the straights in the direction that we want to. Yeah, let's leave those off. So I think that should be good. I think it should be better. I don't know if it'll be perfect. So how do we confirm that? Oh, we can try and send him out for a couple of laps, I suppose. Alright, fine. We've got 5 minutes left still, so when Ricardo pits, we'll do the same thing for him.
Pit lane. Understood. Remember the pit lane speed limiter.
Ricardo wasn't such a big improvement. I think it went from 50-something to 60-something. So the top three, well, I mean, everything except traction is good, isn't it? And which one was the one that moved traction? Was it tyre camp? No. Yeah, that's the major difference. I'm tempted to put that right up to the other side of the bar and then see if we can bring this other stuff down a little bit. Bear in mind that's good, not great, so if we do move them a little bit, that's not the end of the world. In fact, because it's good, maybe I will move it a bit more. The great ones are pretty much where they were. Yeah, okay, well we'll give that a go, I think, actually. So let's run the plan, and we'll bring him down to the minimum number of laps as well. We'll just give that a quick run out and see how they go on. Yeah, that's into practice. They got out with about 5 seconds left. I forgot that it would take about 5 minutes to put all those changes into action. So there we are at the end of practice. And Norris did pretty well. I mean, bear in mind, we weren't really racing. He's behind Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes, but is actually above pretty much everyone else except Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. So I think we've got to be pretty happy with that. So we're going to end this practice, and then we're going to come back in the next one. So this is the results for practice 1. We don't really need to peruse those for too long, I don't think. Still a question mark over the setup confidence. So when we go into P2, we'll obviously have to try out those changes that we made. So we're going to go straight into P2, and we're going to take control of this as well. But I'll sort of only film the parts where they're coming into the pit stops.
Radio check.
And we're making changes to the setups,
Yeah,
because otherwise we're sitting here for an hour and not doing very much, aren't we? So come back soon.
It's all good. It's a cool car to drive.
Cool, so we're just coming back now, and they've just, we've got as far into the practice run that they've given their confidence level in the car. And Lando Norris up to 88%, but Ricciardo up to 91%. So they're both feeling pretty great about the car they're driving at the moment. So we'll see if we can do any other tweaks, and providing that we can, you know, keep nudging it towards 100. We won't get to 100, but providing we can nudge it to as close as we can, then we might simulate the third practice and not have to sit here doing that. So we'll come back when we're in the pits and making tweaks. So here we are in the garage. Let's go to Norris first. So we've gone from 41 to 71 to 88% happy with the car. Everything's good, optimal or great. So the one thing that isn't is the cornering. So can we change that slightly? The thing is, I can't remember which way which way we moved it previously. So I feel like anything we do is going to sort of upset other stuff. Especially this is slightly outside the optimal range. I mean, we probably know how to get that optimal. We need to move it there. Move that slightly. Those have moved slightly. That braking, I wish I could move that back to optimal. We leave it there. Oh, actually that can... There we go. So very, very minor tweaks to this just to try and move it a few percentage points higher. Let's say that we want to get it there, so... let's keep the current length. Tyres... yeah, I don't want to use any more medium tyres. Let's do another soft then. It's tricky, isn't it? I think our race strategy is going to be soft, medium, soft. So I want at least 2 of those and a couple for qualifying. I've only got 1 set. Are these locked for the race? Okay, well that's something, isn't it? We'll try on hards. Okay, let's send him out. Now Daniel Ricciardo is going to be even higher, so... It doesn't feel like there's a lot to do here, does it? I mean, things like the oversteer, the braking, and the traction, we actually know that we can pretty much move them in one direction and improve them. So let's see if we can do that. Ooh. Okay, let's try just a little bit on that then. That's too much, isn't it? That's quite a big change on the traction. Ooh. Great, great. Yeah. And if I can then move the braking back a little bit. How about that? That feels pretty good. Let's go to tyres. Let's put him on hards as well. And we'll go back out. Speed this up, and when we come back, we'll see how we got on with those. So both drivers are heading to the garage now. Yeah, Ricciardo hasn't given a percentage he's happy with yet for some reason. Hopefully he will before he gets there. Norris, we managed to improve Norris by 1%. We'll probably leave it there for the race. That seems decent. I think when I was racing in the Haas and I'd simulated the sessions, it was like in the setup confidence was in the 50s. Here we go. How's it feeling? Oh, optimal setup. 97% there for Ricciardo. Well, we've got to be pretty happy with that, I think. Yeah, so when we come back, I'm probably going to simulate P3, but we'll keep it running there. The simulation's really quick. And then we'll go into qualifying. Right, so the standings for practice 3, we were 14 and 15, but we were on hard tyres and we were sort of sticking to a fairly neutral race strategy. It's all looking pretty good. Setup confidence 97, so we're pretty happy with Daniel. I had a little play with Norris's setup confidence when he came into the pit just then, and I couldn't get it looking good, so I'm going to leave it at 89 and assume that's good. And we're just going to simulate practice 3 here.
Welcome back to what is proving to be an exciting weekend of Formula One racing.
Mm-hmm. Right, so practice 3 we're going to simulate. I guess I don't want to stay on softs. We're going to need them for qualifying. Let's use those medium tyres then. We'll keep that as it is, and then we're just going to simulate. So, how do they get on? Oh, the AI actually improved Norris's confidence up to 91, which is good. Track 100%, car parts 74%. That seems okay. Hopefully that is something that will, by the second race we'll start there, and then you go up to 100, depending on if you change parts. We're going to do qualifying now. And I'm probably actually going to simulate the qualifying because I don't really know what I can add to the qualifying plan. I'm just going to let the AI take care of that, I think. Now remember, we want to try and get to Q2 for our sponsor thing. And we did, 12 and 13. So we'll probably get knocked out in the next qualifying session, but I think that's probably fine. We know where we currently stand. Yeah, so we'll simulate this session and we're probably going to get eliminated. Yep, both knocked out, 12th and 14th. That's okay. I mean, if we could finish there, I'd be reasonably happy, I think. I mean, once we've got a few new car parts in, maybe we're going to try and push up the field a little bit. But now it's race
day
time.
has arrived and the time has come for these drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel.
McLaren did well during qualifying. They maximized their potential and are in a good position for the race today. We saw a reasonably good qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they certainly have a good chance to capitalize during the race. We've been having lovely clear weather, although there are a few clouds lurking. Hopefully they'll stay in check for the duration of the race.
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to cope with the pressure? Let's find out right here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
So we're just going to go in. Let's see. So we have slightly less fuel than was required to win the race or finish the race. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're going to start in like an aggressive high mode though. And we'll probably lower that down after a lap or two. But just for the start of the race. So in terms of filming, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show the first number of laps. Definitely the last few. Around about the middle of the race, it seems once the cars have sort of reached a point where they're not really overtaking and stuff, it's yeah, because we have to do the full 57 laps. I don't want to be doing all of that in real time. But we'll certainly start in real time. Then we'll speed up in the middle. And
the drivers are lined up tonight
go back to the end,
under mostly
to the
clear
normal time.
skies. And there's Lando Norris. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. And behind them, it's Ricciardo. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up.
All right,
And we're just moments away now. Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
So I'm going to follow Norris predominantly as he's our lead driver starting the race. All the options are here are the same as they were in qualifying and practice that we saw, so we'll just stick on that view for now. So we're behind George Russell's Mercedes.
Okay, mate, good job.
Oh, we've gained some positions. We're up to 10th now. Had a good start.
McLaren have got some momentum
Okay,
going.
maybe we ought to replay
can
that because I
take a
wasn't
look
really paying
now.
attention.
Watch this. We're looking at
That's us.
Lando
Ooh.
Norris.
There's one. Oh, maybe that was both of them. Can we get
And
another
they've
one?
really capitalised on that opportunity. That was a big moment. The team are clearly delighted.
All right, settle down, guys. Long way to go yet. Ricciardo still in 14th. Look behind us. Oh, yeah. Things catching up. Oh, I don't know. It makes my... I don't get travel sick, but this view, for some reason, makes me slightly nauseous. There's Norris. So who's behind us? We've got Magnussen's Haas behind us. We've got almost 3/4 of a second's distance. We're really catching up on Russell. So who's the Alpha? That's Bottas. Okay. Lost a bit of ground there. I won't do running commentary for every single moment of this race, just because it's going to take a while. So. Ooh, chance to overtake here. We're very close. Verstappen's leading the race at the moment. That's probably going to be something I say regularly. It'll be a while before we're challenging the Ferraris and Red Bulls of the world. Probably not even this season. If we could end the season sort of finishing around about, so the Alpines or the Haas, I think that would be pretty good. So it's lap 2. We'll slow down our settings a little bit when we go into lap 3, I think. Feels like we're losing a bit of ground now on Russell. Norris and Russell, probably names that are going to be battling it out for a long time to come in Formula 1. Russell in particular came across like a really nice guy in Drive to Survive. I like Albon as well, he's a really nice guy. All these young British drivers, and I know he flies under, is it the Thai flag, Albon? But he's born in England. They just seem like really nice guys. Ones you're quite happy to follow.
Let's keep going.
Not quite sure why he's racing for Williams. Maybe because I'm only in season 3 of Drive to Survive, which I think is the 2019
McLaren
season.
with a great overtake.
And he's doing pretty well there. He's racing for Red Bull, so not sure what's happened in the years since. But Ricciardo's overtaken a spot. Just ticking over to lap 3, so let's just slow that down to
DRS
aggressive,
enabled.
and we're going to go to a balanced fuel setting and neutral ERS. Particularly on the fuel, we need to watch it because that will just go. We're already predicted to run out of fuel 2 laps before the end of the race, so... Oh, well, let's see
Here's
Stroll
the
lock up.
replay. Let's have a look here. This was the Aston Martin. And this,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
there, that's
Ooh.
the lockup.
Yeah, lost a couple of places there. So where's he now? Aston Martin.
And that was a bitter blow for the team.
Alright, so where's Stroll? Where is he? Where can I see him? Aston Martin, right? Oh, hang on. I'll get rid of... There he is, right at the, right at the bottom. So how are we doing? Yeah, over half a second now behind Russell. We're kind of cementing this 10th place, really, which is okay. I'd be happy with 10th. We're just coming up to a second faster than Magnussen. If we have a look behind, we can just see him there. Oh, the drivers above us. Oh, what's this? Yellow flag? So no overtaking, I think that is. Not that that's going to be a problem for us right now.
Is that a lockup?
Oh,
Let's
Magnussen's
see what
locked up.
happened there. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
Because he's the one just
That
behind us.
lockup could have cost them dearly.
Oh, yeah. So where's Magnussen now? He's last. Okay.
Currently
So that's
yellow
good. So
flag.
we're over a second ahead of Ocon now in the Alpine.
Yeah.
Clawing back a little bit of fuel here. Oh, Ricciardo's got loads to make up though. So this is where I don't understand the ERS. Do we have to go to... Sometimes the battery will just fill up to about a third. I don't really understand it though. So I don't want to go to harvest just yet because that'll slow us down. I think I'll just leave it in neutral until later on in the race. Although we might possibly claim a couple of spaces here. Let's go back to pushing.
Stay close.
Confirm.
See if we can catch up to Bottas.
Good job.
McLaren gain a position.
Oh, Ricciardo's just behind us now. 10th and 11th? God, if we if we crash on the last lap like I did before, I'm going to be deeply, deeply unhappy. Okay, well, I'm going to have to drop this back down, I think, because we're just killing fuel.
And save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from now.
Confirm.
So what was our strategy view? So we wanted to... How many laps did we want to get out of the tyres? I can't remember. We want 2 changes, don't we? So probably around lap 16, 17? So that'll be 34. Then we'll have mediums for the middle stretch, I think. Maybe we'll do Lando with soft, soft, medium, and then Ricciardo on soft, medium, soft. Okay, how do I get back? Okay. Oh yeah, Norris just... What happened? Oh, that was Ocon overtaking Ricciardo, who's dropped down a couple of places now. Let's put him to deploy that.
Use the overtake button.
Okay, understood.
We're pretty close to Bottas. Should we try... Maybe we'll try attacking again. I'll leave the fuel use where it is, though. A bit worried about that. You're right in with this clump of sort of 4... Well, there's 5 of us, really, isn't it? Alonso and Gasly, Russell, Bottas, and us at the end. And, you know, we're in with a shout of getting ahead of one or more of those. Well, that said, they're now accelerating away from us quite quickly. Ricciardo got back. Actually quite... might start to preserve our tyres a little
McLaren
bit.
with a great overtake. Let's take a look
Show
at the
Ricciardo's
replay.
overtake.
Now look at this. Daniel Ricciardo involved here.
Not bad. Yeah, it certainly feels like these 4 drivers ahead of us are just that bit quicker. Alonso doing really well. I understand that it's tradition to call him the wily old campaigner every time you mention Fernando Alonso. I think he's 40 now. He's still doing really well, as you can see here. I think in real life he's not doing quite this well. He's about the middle of the table.
Alpine
we're
just
just-
advanced.
Oh, Ricciardo's been taken over again. Or overtaken, I should say. Not taken over. Assuming direct control. I think this is the part of the race where sort of overall race strategy maybe comes into play a bit more, because we're going to... People are going to be pitting, not now, but sort of 10 laps time, and then it's a case of how often you pit, how quick the pits are, you know, if you can make up places. I think in a race this length, I think everyone's going to have to pit twice. I don't see anyone doing it in one pit. Two stretches, I mean, so we shall see.
It's looking good.
Ricciardo's back. Let's have a look behind. Here he is.
McLaren gain a position.
Quite a battle there between Ocon and Ricciardo. With a little bit ahead of them now. We're kind of cementing into this 10th spot with this big gap behind us and a big gap in front of us. Okay, so this is probably the point at which I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I'll keep filming, but I might edit this out in the editing suite, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm probably going to go up to 2 times speed now. Oh wow, Ricciardo's back down in 13th. Again, that sort of 13th to 11th is a bit of a battle. And you can sort of see where the stratas are forming. We've got Tsunoda there, 3 seconds behind Ricciardo. Vettel, 3. Oh, something's happened. Hang on. Pause. What happened? What's going on? Norris? What's going on, Norris?
Now just take a look at the McLaren. Oh dear, dear, dear. That's far wider than they would have wanted. That's going to be
Oh God, so what's happened? Norris is in 15th now. Which isn't ideal. So that was a bit annoying. He's got some ground to make up now. Can't do it on the fuel, which we're still quite worried about, honestly. And the tyres, we want them to last another 8 laps, really. So we've used 33%, so that'd be 66%. Yeah, that's about right. I think we can go aggressive, though. The fuel we're using, just burning through it.
Maximum pace.
Oh, Norris. So they've got the same amount of fuel. Why is Norris using so much more of it than Ricciardo, is my question. We're going to have to go into fuel conservation at some point. Well, we'll wait. If there is a crash and the safety car comes out, you can stick the full fuel conservation thing on for a few laps, and that will make a difference. Let's go to deploy our ERS. I feel like we're losing ground on this group, not gaining it. It's so weird because we were doing so well. Okay, battery's drained. Let's go back to neutral mode. That's drained. Go back to neutral mode. Did we achieve anything? Not really. Well, that was a bit annoying. I think we need to start saving the tyres a little bit.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Cool.
Is it cool, Lando? Is it? Broke my heart, Lando. Well, I guess we'll follow Ricciardo a bit more closely now, as he's our best chance of getting points. Ocon, though, who he was ahead of at one point, is now 4.5 seconds ahead of him. No, he's not. He's about 0.7 seconds behind him. So they're still in this little clump. Got some ERS back. Let's go to deploy.
Okay, use to deploy.
Yep, understood.
The same for Lando. Another car's run wide. Wonder who that is. Hopefully someone ahead of Norris.
Looks like there's been a lockup.
Or Verstappen. Okay, well, we aren't overtaking Verstappen, so. Oh, Ricciardo's 11th now.
So just keep taking care. You're doing a good job.
Zhou ahead of him.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
We have to put this in neutral again now. Made a bit of distance over Ocon though, nearly a second. Half a second behind Zhou. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if not. Oh, Norris still not gaining. It's really annoying. Okay, we're going to deploy Daniel's ERS again. Very close to the Alphas. Norris is just... Yeah. Let's have a look at him. He's 5 seconds behind the car in front and 7 seconds ahead of the car behind, so it's just... this race has gone quite badly there. Give him some ERS.
Hold on, mate.
Oh, Ricciardo's 10th. He caught Zhou. Awesome.
McLaren gain a position.
So the race is in the points now. Just, well, point. 5.5 seconds. Oh, that's like Zhou's going to overtake him. Oh, no. It's quite the battle between those three, isn't it? Like, our car's the slowest, but Ricciardo's a good driver and just keep holding those two off. Let's give him some ERS to help him out. Oh, overtake him. Can we get back on the next turn? Dropped a spot.
A position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Maybe slightly more aggressive.
Okay, push. Understood. Good job.
Back in 10th. Wow, that was a really good... Oh, we're going to have to watch that.
Let's take a closer look.
Because he's over a second ahead of him now. What happened?
Involved here.
It's forced him wide.
And they get past, which moves them up a
He
position.
just shot past. Nice.
I think it's safe to say that...
So, yeah, we're over a second ahead of him now. I'm just going to bump that down to preserve our tyres a little bit.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Okay, understood.
Norris has made up a bit of time actually on, well, not on Tsunoda. He's got on behind Michael Schumacher's Haas now. Still 4.5 seconds behind him now. Oh, these three, there's no separating them, is there? They've caught right up again. Just going to deploy some ERS. I want to bump up the speed. I can't take my eyes off this though. Okay, let's try 2 times, but last time I did this, something horrible happened. Yeah, neutral. It slows down automatically to 1-time speed when there's any team comms. That's alerting us to something. Zhou's... Oh, they're both trying to overtake on both sides of him. Looks like Zhou's passed. And Ocon.
Alfa Romeo just moved up a place.
How are we doing? We probably thought to be a bit more aggressive in the tyres, actually. Slightly concerned about the fuel situation still, though.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
Schumacher?
We can
Does
take
that
a
mean
look
Norris
now.
can get past him?
Right, watch this. There's Schumacher. And yes, that's the lockup.
Lost some time, but not a huge amount.
And the team had such high hopes.
So Schumacher, yeah, he made up about a second on him because of that. Ricciardo's behind this sort of little group. Let's neutral on that. And that. We'll change tyres around about the 30% sort of mark. We speed it up even more. We can kind of go to this view. See, that's where Ricciardo is, and then Norris behind this group here. Ricciardo's now got enough fuel to finish the race. Norris hasn't.
Seems to have been a lock-up.
Magnussen locked up. Look, people are starting to pit now, you see, so we're going to see some pretty major positional changes. Norris is going to pit first for us, probably in a couple of laps. Probably put the mediums on Norris. Then when Ricciardo comes in, we'll put the second set of softs on him. Oh, Ricciardo's... well, it's difficult to tell, isn't it, because of the pitting that's happening. What's Norris doing? He's just over a second behind Schumacher now, which is pretty good by him. So Norris is just going past now. Do I want to come in at the end of this lap? Let's have a little look. So, 40 laps to go. We were going to put him on the mediums, weren't we? And they can go for about 30 laps. And then we'll go on to softs for the last stretch. So that looks okay. Nothing else needs changing, so we'll do that. And then we'll do Ricciardo, give him one more lap. 34, yeah, he should be alright. I'll actually put him into a higher engine mode. Just for this lap. Cane the tyres as well. Let's go all out. And then we'll call him in at the end of this lap. We're going to put a second set of softs on him. So that should take him to... Well, it's difficult because I think that's to 0%, which we don't actually want to get to, but that should be okay. And then we'll put the mediums on for the last stint. Norris in the pits at the moment. He's actually caught up on fuel as well, which is pretty good. So we'll leave him in the neutral engine mode for now, and if he builds up a few spare laps, we'll extend it. Go on to neutral ERS. Be a bit aggressive on the tyres.
Look at that! They've run wide!
Oh, no, Schumacher's run wide. So Norris is actually ahead of Schumacher now. That's good. Danny Ricciardo's out. Ah, yeah, we need to turn his engine mode right down because he's running out of fuel now. We'll make him aggressive as well. There we go. So, I think if I look on this, everyone's pitted once now. So, pretty much as we were, really. Except Norris has made up a spot on Schumacher. I'll make him deploy.
Looks like that was a position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, okay. Joe overtook. Which is a bit annoying. Actually, the situation has completely changed now. He can push. And Norris has got to conserve a bit. I'll try and save the time. No, well, we need to get ahead of this clump, really, don't we?
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Norris overtook Tsunoda. Okay. I didn't get to that in time. Let's have a look at Norris. Yeah, he's right behind Ricciardo now. Oh, no, he's behind Tsunoda again. Give him some extra grunt there. Let's go attack. Oh, he's ahead now. Let's do higher engine mode just for a little bit. Try and get some distance.
Gain a position.
Can't afford to do that for too long. Let's turn the engine back down. There's been quite a battle there. Come on, make up a bit more. Then I'll go switch slightly down there. Ricardo can maybe push a little more. Still no safety cars or anything in this race. Deploy. Yeah, we've got a bit of a gap now to Tsunoda. Got over a second now. Still quite a bit behind Ricciardo. I think we've actually made up a second on him though. Maybe because Ricciardo's at the back of this little clump. You actually sort of see them together now. So if Norris hadn't locked up or whatever he did, he'd probably be about 10th by now. I think he was 10th when he locked up. Yeah, he's definitely gaining on Ricciardo. Let's turn his engine mode back down. Things are feeling a bit set, so let's just speed up for a little bit. Norris just overtook Ricciardo. Oh, hang on. What was that yellow flag? Don't think it would have been us. I think we'd have been told. So Ricciardo overtook Norris again. I think we're going to turn him back down.
I think there's been a lock-up.
Latifi. I think he was last anyway, so I don't think that matters much. I want Norris ahead, and then I'm going to tell Ricciardo. Let's give a team order. I'll say, don't fight your teammate.
Swap positions, please.
Understood.
Thank you, Daniel. I just think Norris is quicker, even on these medium tyres. Let's speed up a little bit again. Yeah, Daniel, could you give him a bit of space, please?
Is that a lock-up?
Leclerc's locked up. He's got a lot of spare fuel now. Norris doesn't. Though he's getting better. He's almost getting to the end of the race now. Okay, it's a half-second distance. He's actually closing on Ocon, I think, as well. He should have been really quick if he hadn't locked up. What can I do to help him? Let's go aggressive. He's already on deploy ERS. Go attack for a short spell. Yeah, he's definitely closed the gap now. Yellow flag. Oh,
They've
Daniel,
gone
back up.
wide.
Vettel ran wide, but he's well down anyway. Daniel! Slow down. If these two crash and take each other out, I'm going to be pissed off. Oh, Norris. Got the overtake? I think he did. Oh, not quite. Not quite. As Norris is finishing the race now. He did. He's got Ocon.
McLaren gain a
10th.
position.
Very nice. Let's just slow down to aggressive on that then. He's back where he was before
Watch
he
this.
locked
We're
up.
looking at Lando Norris.
Good. Good boy. Nope, he's back down. Okay. Ricciardo's losing ground on this little pack now. Actually, not as much as Ocon.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Ocon's well back now. Oh, and there's Joe. Let's switch to defend mode on the ERS. Get Daniel to speed up a bit now. Maybe push a little bit on the engine and get more aggressive on the tyres. Joe overtook again. Let's switch that to deploy then.
A position gained for Alfa Romeo.
Oh, these two. Come on. Okay, let's attack. And let's turn up the engine mode for a little bit now that we're in the green. I'll turn Daniel down on the tyres as well. Oh, got the overtake. Like we can afford to run this just for a little bit.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
Damn, Joe's
Looks
ahead
like
again.
there's been a lock-up.
Okay, we're going to have to turn these back down a little bit. Oh, he's 10th again. It's quite the battle between these two. Starting to get a little bit of a gap going. Oh, he's catching up again now. No, he's cut the distance again. Aye, aye, aye. Okay, we need to start paying attention to the laps. So Daniel is going to need to pit quite soon, with just over 20 laps still to go. So I think we'll do. I think we'll finish this lap, do one more lap, and then we'll pit. Well, what I mean is we'll pit him after this lap, at the end of this lap. We could push it to one more. Maybe?
Alpine just advanced.
Go on then, let's push it one more lap. Almost a second gap now to Zhou. Quite a long way behind Gasly, it's fair to say. So 10th is looking like the highest we can finish. Could finish 10th or 11th, really, looking at the gaps.
Yeah, the rear's taking a bit of a hit. Copy.
Down to 11th.
So I need to look after these tyres.
Yeah, Daniel, just stop moaning. Right, so let's
Alfa
pit now.
Romeo just moved up a place.
So he's got to. So what did he do? He did soft. So he's got to go to medium tyres, and that should see him to the end of the race.
Box this lap, box this lap.
Okay, understood. Box this lap.
Oh, we're ahead of Zhou again. Whew. It'd be great to finish 10th in our first race. That'd be great. Keep going for a while on these tyres as well. I think we could even go to attack. Because he's only gonna have to do like 15 laps on the last set of softs. A second gap to Zhou now. Ricardo's there. Is he pitting? Has he pit already? No, he's coming out of the pit lane, I think. Oh no, hang on. I need to switch that screen. Okay, so I think we can get a bit aggressive with those tyres now. Turn up the engine mode for a bit. What tyres is Zhou on? He's on hards, you see, and he's still keeping up with us. How many times has he pitted? Once. So far, Daniel's the only one who's pitted twice.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
Nice. I'll turn these down slightly. In terms of what's happening, Sainz is leading by quite some distance over Leclerc and Perez and Vettel. Bottas way behind there, so the Ferraris and Red Bull way out in front, and the Mercedes, yeah, just not doing great. I don't know what's happened to them this year. I mean, I know in real life they're, you know, well down the field, maybe the third best team, possibly even the fourth. I'm not sure. You know, they were winning championships not that long ago, so I have no idea what's happened to them. Yeah, we have to change that. Switch that down a little bit. I think we're going to try and squeeze a little bit more out of these tyres. Joe's just pitted, so this is a chance to make up some distance on him. So I think we'll do this. I'll get round the finish line.
Focus on fuel from now, please.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. We might still waiting a safety car. That means we can maybe save a bit of fuel. Not necessarily going to happen. Yeah, I think we're going to have to pit after the next one. I think we'll get past the finish line, then we'll set up our pit stop. And hopefully he's got enough to carry him to the end then. Okay, so it's pit time for Lando Norris. So yeah, those are his mediums. So let's see, we're going to put him on a set of softs. It's going to be 16 laps by then, so he should be okay. Switch to Ricardo while he's doing that. So he's well behind Joe, who has pitted. That probably means he won't overtake Norris either, just the distance he is behind. Fuel's looking just about okay. I mean, I'll turn his tyres down. I don't think Ocon's catching him, and I don't think he's catching Zhou either, so... Zhou might also not catch Norris. Norris coming out of the pits. Still in 10th. Oh, Zhou right behind him, look at that. Wow, so they've resumed their battle. Oh, he needs to conserve that fuel a little bit. But he's on the faster tyres now. What's Zhou got on? He's on mediums. So. Alright, he's just about able to finish the race now. That's good. So we get our ES charged up a little bit. Yeah, I think his tyres will be all right. Might turn them down a little bit though. Slightly worried about Ricardo's. Well, Gasly's in the pit. Are we going to be able to catch him? Probably not, looking at how far ahead he was. He certainly closed the distance, though, I would hope. Where's Gasly? He's 9th, so he's out again. Yeah, only 6 seconds behind him now, though. It was a lot more. Ah, we're going to have to start conserving fuel, aren't we? Right, let's turn that right down for a bit. If he gets to within 3/4 of a second, I think I'll have to turn it back up, though. Must be a thing in the stats. And I think in Motorsport Manager you'd use less fuel if your smoothness stat was very high. I might have to have a look at Norris's, because Ricciardo just seems to have been a lot better at getting his fuel to go the distance this time. Might be something we can develop on Norris, though, right? Oh wow, he's really caught up. We're gonna have to put that back and give us a bit of ERS, I think, and go more aggressive. I think he's going to overtake us. No, gained half a second. Ricciardo's doing okay. I don't feel the need to do a lot on his car, to be honest. 11 laps to go. Oh, that fuel we're burning. It is getting low, you're right. I don't feel I can conserve it though. Shit, we're gonna have to. We're not gonna finish the race. You know, 10th or 11th, let's lose a point. But if we don't finish the race, it's not looking good. You might well have to sit in this conserve fuel setting for quite a while. I mean, if and when Zhao gets past him, he's quite far ahead of Ricciardo anyway. Use ERS on defend mode. I don't know what difference that makes. Doing well, he's almost back to neutral fuel level. I think Ricciardo can be a bit more aggressive even. Driving well, it's keeping him behind him. Oh no, he's finally got past him. I don't think there was a lot we could do about that. At least he's back to neutral. We're going to have to stay in this mode until we gets in the green. Oh, he's ahead of Zhou again. How is he ahead of Zhou again? By 3.5 seconds. Zhou must have locked up or something. Wow, that was lucky. I wasn't paying. I was looking down here. I wasn't looking at any messages that came through. Wow, that was lucky. I don't think Zhou can catch us now, and we're doing well.
That's a
We're in
good
the green on the
overtake
fuel.
from Alpine.
Kind of. We'll stay in this mode a while longer, though. Tyres looking okay. 7 laps left. We should be all right. Might even make him standard. So we're a minute behind the leaders.
McLaren gain a position.
Oh, Ricardo's... Well, him and Ocon were neck and neck anyway at one stage.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Sainz ran wide. Okay. He's leading the race. So. Last lap. What are our lap times like?
Alpine just advanced.
We're actually a bit slower than Zhou. And Ricardo. That was just the last lap, though. 6 laps to go. How are we doing? Still sort of maintaining that 3.5 second gap over Zhou, which is good.
And
Oh, what's
McLaren
happened?
with a great overtake.
Ooh.
That's a spin. Let's take a look at the replay.
I don't know
Now
what's
watch
happening. I thought we
this.
were
Here's
replaying. Okay, let's get out of there. So Ricardo, yep, he's now 12th. Again, looks like a bit of a battle between those two. Still having to conserve fuel on Norris. And Zhou starting to eat into his lead. Oh, it's going to be tight. I can't push that up though. At least it's finishing the race now by a little bit. Ricardo, I could maybe push for a little bit. I want to bring his tyres back down though.
I think someone's run wide.
Alonso ran wide. Oh.
Let's have a look. Okay, so there we have the Alpine. They're way off the racing line there. That isn't good.
Couldn't really capitalise. It wasn't a big
Team
run
are
out.
really disappointed.
Yeah, they're disappointed. He hasn't lost any places though, and I should know because I'm behind him. I think I was 9 seconds behind him at one point though, so that's good. Ricardo managing to lose out to Ocon again, so let's push him up. Let's get into Norris's cockpit for the last few laps.
Copy, you're doing a good job.
What are we doing here? Doing alright for fuel. Norris is doing okay. Right, Ricardo's overtaken Ocon now. See if he can maintain that.
Five laps to go.
5 laps to go in 10th. Zhou has halved the gap to us though. Still can't turn the engine mode up because we've only just got enough fuel.
Yep, this is my pace.
He's lost out again.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
Let's make him attack now.
Let's try and push up. Confirm.
Oh, come on team. This will be the first time I've actually done alright in my 3rd attempt at a race in this game. And we're looking okay. All I want to do is finish 10th. Okay, I'll turn the tyres down a bit.
Good job, let's keep going.
So you have taken again? He has. I switched him to defence mode. I'm not sure what difference it makes.
McLaren gain a position.
I might have to look that up online and just read a bit about the
Available
ERS
if
and
you
how
need
it
to
works. You can still keep pushing, to be honest, on the engine. How are our parts doing? Doing really well, to be honest. I mean, a Motorsport Manager, those would probably be down to about 40% by now. Oh, Zhou's under a second behind now. Last few laps.
There are 4 laps to go.
Oh, nervy. Still can't turn the engine mode up. He's running on conserved fuel, and Ricciardo's running on maximum fuel, and still got more. Just about keeping ahead of Ocon. So there's the 2 battles there. We could finish 11th and 13th, or we could finish 10th and 12th, which is our best shot. That's where it's looking at the moment, but Zhou is caught right up now. I mean, he's got a better car. Look at where Bottas is in 6th, so it's not too surprising. In fact, it's surprising we've managed to keep ahead of him, really, in this conserved fuel mode we've been having to run. Wonder what let's just pop up to balanced and we'll see what happens. I really need to keep ahead of him. Cars run wide. Who was that? Wasn't Zhou this time.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Ocon. So Ocon, yeah, is now well behind Ricciardo. So Ricciardo doesn't have to thrash his car at all. Let's just go into a bit of a coast mode. Because there's no chance of Ocon catching Ricciardo now. It's all about us. It's all about Norris and Zhou. It's going to go red, isn't it? Look at that. Half a second. Less than half a second. Oh. It's gone red on the fuel again. If that drops down anymore, I'm going to have to go back to conserve fuel mode. I hope he's got enough to get another 2 laps. God, his tyres are starting to look a bit worn. At least he's got a big lead. What are Zhou's tyres looking like? 51%, so more than ours, but he is on mediums. Hand on heart, I think he'll probably overtake us. Let's go to defend mode on our ERS. Oh, Lando, defend it. For all you're worth.
Focus on fuel from now, please.
Compare.
Yeah, we're going to have to drop it
2
down.
laps to go. And save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from
Damn
now.
it.
Yeah, all good.
Can't see us finishing 10th now. The fuel thing. It was a long race. So Sainz just starts the last lap, so we've got about a lap and a half left to go. Ricciardo looking pretty comfortable in 12th still. Come on, Norris. You can do it. Well, it's back to finishing the race at least. There goes Zhou. Overtake him. Damn it. I don't think there's anything we can do about it. Not and finish the race. 2 kilograms of fuel left.
Position gained for Alfa Romeo.
11th and 12th. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. Show start to pull away now.
This is the last lap.
Last lap. I think we go attack on the tyres
Stay close.
and engine mode.
Yeah, confirm.
Let's see what you guys can get. Right, so Leclerc's finished the race in first place. We're currently sitting 11th and 12th, but
Okay, use
still a
deploy.
slight chance to get 10th maybe. But we're going to keep the engine in conserve. Actually, let's switch it to neutral node. We've got enough to finish the race. This might be enough to get past him. We shall see. Come on, Norris. Half a second behind. Oh, mama. Got 10th.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
Ocon's run wide, so that's definitely Ricciardo finishing in 12th. Wasn't really in doubt at this stage.
And McLaren with a great overtake.
He certainly was. So we're coming into the last turn and just ahead. Oh, neck and neck with Zhu now. There he is. We're in the final straight. Keeping ahead of him. We're going to cross in 10th.
It's a checkered flag. You can keep pushing if you want to.
There we go.
I think you did something good with the strategy.
10th place.
Great
Thank
job,
you,
mate.
guys.
Great job.
10th and 12th. So we made up a couple of spots on our qualifying positions, which is nice. Got a point on the board. Our first point.
And that's good enough.
Nicely
for
done,
Lando
son.
Norris this weekend. McLaren showed some good stuff here today, but they'll be building on that now to try and improve their results next time.
They've displayed some moments of quality here. All they need now is some fine-tuning to achieve great things.
After the race, they sit in 7th place in the constructor standings.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
There we go. Not bad for our first race. I think that's better than they're doing in real life. 10th and 12th. How about that? Point for young Lando Norris. 10th in the Drivers' Championship as well. Point behind Alpine. We'll take that. Ahead of Haas, Aston Martin and Williams. Very nice. Ricciardo with some XP. And Norris with twice as much XP. Didn't use Stoffel Van Dorn at all. Yeah. We made nearly $4 million on that race. Didn't lose any. So I think our sponsors must be pretty happy. Completed our suspension. So there we go. It's already a very long episode. It's very long races as well. But thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. It's really fun. For some of you, may even prefer playing it to watching real Formula 1, like me anyway. But thanks very much. If you did enjoy this, then please do hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We're going to keep going with this. We're going to try and get McLaren up the table. And we're going to be controlling them for multiple seasons, hopefully. But come back next time where we're going to be taking on the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Bye for now.